Hello.
Hello, sleepyhead.
Yep, that's exactly me. That's
Well,
exact.
that's a good thing to do.
I haven't been sleeping well the last couple of nights, so yeah, I needed
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
I woke up just about 8 and I was like, okay, I could really, really rush and get out the door in time. And I just couldn't do it.
Well, you have to pay attention to that. That's good that you did.
And it's like you said, it's a good thing we've got Zoom.
Indeed.
Yeah, not that we
Well,
do it all the time, but it's nice as
yeah.
a backup.
It is a time when a lot of us are feeling anxiety and having difficulty sleeping. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, I didn't have a good night last night myself, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
Not awful, but just one of those nights. And I wasn't actually worrying about anything. I just couldn't sleep. So probably on some level I was, but not consciously.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
do you have your kittens with you?
Have what?
Are your kittens with you in class today?
They haven't come down. I don't know. Mango's probably sleeping because she was playing so hard earlier. Uh, she's probably crashed for her morning nap. And Moki, I don't know where he is. He usually comes down, but he hasn't so far. He may appear suddenly.
Uh,
He loves to do that.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We are very fortunate with our cats. They are so sweet. They're really special.
Yeah. 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 How can they not be sweet with you and Jane though? It's just like
Well, that I'm sure contributes, but it also points to their foster home, I think, was a really good start too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of time they've got such personality too that sometimes
Yeah.
personalities really come through. Um, Sometimes in good ways and sometimes not.
Yeah. Well, and the cats are they're individual just like we are.
Exactly. Exactly.
So sure the how they're raised is has a big effect, but also just who they are is certainly my experience.
Hmm.
These two are developing to be really quite different. I think Mango is the smarter of the two. Moki's the eater in the pair. Uh, and yeah, she's the one that's likely to be, she sleeps with me a lot at night. Um, he will wake me up. As a matter of fact, I've had to start um, when he goes off in the morning, whenever that is, somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30 usually. I have to, if I'm not getting up at that time, I have to take him downstairs and put him in the basement, or I don't get back to sleep. So we have to adapt.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny about that. She's perfectly willing to sleep until we wake up. But Moki, um, he hits a point where he just starts demanding that somebody has to wake up. So it was annoying for a while, but we kind of learned to deal with it.
Yeah, everybody kind of adjusts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my tool will check in and see if I'm ready to get up, and then they're pretty good about one goes away and
Uh-huh.
or beside us, and then the other one just cuddles in a little bit longer. So they've both figured it out that when I'm ready to get up is when I'm going to get up.
Good. Well, maybe someday Mookie will get that.
That, that's true. You know, he'll figure things out, especially if he gets locked in the basement.
Yeah. Well,
It's too
that's what I figure that maybe eventually he'll learn that there's a relationship there.
they are smart.
Oh
They
yeah.
those things out. They definitely do.
Yep. So, come on, Carol, where are you?
Mm.
Kind of feels like spring outside,
Yes, it is.
that it may come.
Yeah. I'm trying to get some seedlings started. I've got some pepper plants that I'm starting.
Ah,
And the regular ones that I got from Burpees have sprouted and they're about inch or so tall. So they're doing good.
uh-huh.
I did an order of specialty ones from the New Mexico Chili Institute.
Ah,
I love chilies. I love any kind of chili, whether it's hot or mild or, whatever.
yeah.
And I just like that flavor in things. And these take a little bit longer to germinate, so I probably should have done it the other way around. Started these first, but so I've got my fingers crossed. I can get some
Yeah.
odd chili kind of things growing.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Do you use a lot of peppers in your cooking?
I do. I try to put a little bit of everything. I've got some in the freezer. I've got some those Thai hot chili peppers. I, and I grew some peppers last year. I bought the seedlings from a group here in New London. There's a youth group called Fresh New London.
Hmm.
They're training the kids to do urban uh, agriculture, and
Cool.
it's really really awesome. They've got like 4 or 5 beds around the city. They do programs throughout the year, and they do a lot more as far as just beyond the agriculture.
Mm.
When they do their spring plant, their seedling sale, the kids are the ones that are. It basically you walk up and they assign you a child, one of the kids that's part of the group, to be your personal shopper.
Ah,
And these guys are fabulous. They know what's going on. They're interacting with adults, so they're getting that experience of the maturity that you need to do to interact with people. Um, there's a lot of different things. They're teaching them how to build the beds, tend the beds through the winter, and it just a lot of different. They're keeping them aware of things that are going on in the city that impact them. I
mm.
know sometimes they will ask them to zoom into some of the city council meetings so that they're aware of how the city works. Um, so
Wow.
they're really doing a lot as far as, keeping the kids moving and starting to grow up. So,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Wow.
So I love supporting them. I love going and,
Sure.
so I'll go and whether a lot of times I'll just go and buy some of the seedlings thinking, well, yeah, I'm not sure I'll need these, but I just want to go and support them and I make an
Yeah.
annual to them anyway. And
Yeah.
a lot of different things like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'd forgotten about that. I think you mentioned that last year, um, when you got the seedlings from them.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they do a good job.
Oh,
And
good.
a community shared agriculture program where you pay at the beginning of the season a certain amount, and then every week you get a share of whatever it is that's being harvested throughout the summer.
Huh.
I did that one year, and they have a little street fair that they set up at the time that they distribute the shares, and they've got the table where you pick up your share, and then a table right next to it, um, so that any excess that they have in harvest, they give it away. So
Oh,
people
wow.
afford fresh vegetables and stuff. They do that. So I may do it again this year. What I discovered was the share was even a half share was too big for me. So I would unload more of it onto the freebie table,
Yeah. Cool.
so it worked out really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels good supporting that kind of a group here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start. I think I don't know what's happened. Maybe Carol has a problem with John.
Okay.
I don't. Oh, speaking of,
There it is.
uh, sometimes she's got things going on with him that it has no control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ta-da!
Sorry I'm late. My computer decided to be very slow waking up this morning.
Oh, don't you love that?
And, well, it's pretty old, so
Uh,
I need to think about getting something faster, but we'll see.
you always hate to think about that because there's so much involved.
Yes. And some of the things that I use, I don't think are available to buy on for new machines now. So,
Uh, well.
ah, well.
So let us begin. So, any mind-body connection questions?
No,
Do you
still
feel like you're getting some sense of that?
not yet.
Okay. Carol's working on that in God's too, so
Mm.
she gets a double. So continue to do that. I'm going to expand it a little today, but we're still very much focusing on mind-body connection. But we'll come to that in a minute. So, any other questions or thoughts before we energize our gates?
Mm.
Okay, let's do that. So stepping out, coming into your basic structure, feel the sense of Baihui opening at the top of your head and connecting upward to the heavens. Release down through the jade pillow gate and the armpits and chest. Keep the midriff open, but release. Settling into the qua, relaxing that. Perineum open. Releasing down through the thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. And opening Shimian to connect downwards into the earth. And Yang Chuan to draw the energy up from the earth. Focus for a moment on the sinking energy. Allow the energy that the body cannot use to drop into the earth to be cleansed and recycled. And then extend your mind through your body. Take that moment to really feel your mind connecting through your body so that you are able to feel every part. And ultimately feel the chi moving through it. Then flowing into cloud hands, going into the dantian in the center, sending out to the 5 points as you rotate to the side. Keeping the mind in the body, feeling those 5 points, the crown of the head, fingertips, feet and toes. And ideally feeling all 5 equally. And into the swings. Allowing the arms to continuously rotate. So you have a mind and you have a body, and they need to be together. And we're not even at this point talking about the ability of your mind to be stable. You can't swim in water if there's no water. So that's the first thing. The second thing that is going to happen in one way or in another is that eventually you're going to direct your mind to do things with your spirit, your consciousness, your awareness, whatever word you want to use. And when you get to that point, the next thing that is going to occur is that you're going to have to go to get your intent to somehow be able to be focused and fairly continuous. You have to have your mind be reasonably focused. And to focus like intent, but intent is more than that. It is what you want to do with, with the meaning. So it's one thing if if you want to recognize compassion or recognize love, no problem. I can recognize a newspaper, but that doesn't mean that I can read it. The next step is what to do if you want to have compassion come out of you, or you want to have love come out of you, or you want to have intelligence come out of you, or you want to have kindness come out of you, or you actually want to have balance start happening inside of you. The Taoists have always been big on balance. Buddhists talk constantly about compassion, but Taoists go on and on about balance. They just have a different way of looking at how you do things. Taoists actually think that if you don't have balance, you can forget about ever having compassion. It won't happen, except as an idea. You can have an idea of anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't mean it is going to happen. It just means you have an idea about it. So you need to have some sort of in, intent about it. What do you want to come out of this? What does compassion mean? You have to have some idea of what the quality is that a meditation practice is proposing. You want to be happy, you have to have some idea about happiness. If somehow you know how to direct your intent, you can do a lot. But wait a second. I'm here and I want to become compassionate. I'm here and I want to be able to recognize emptiness. I'm here and want to be able to produce joy in my life. I'm here and I want to lift myself out of depression into joy. For that, you have to use intent. Your mind has to go, yes, I know what it is. And now, what is it that has to happen inside of me? And for that, you need intent. Now, intent has three kinds. There is the intent of your conscious mind, and there is the intent of your unconscious mind, and there is the intent of your heart mind, Sheen, which goes beyond your unconscious mind. It is this thing that can go between lifetimes that Buddhists and Taoists and Hindus talk about. So there are three very different levels of intent, but you still have to use intent. So if you're just going to say, oh, may everything be compassionate, it is not the same thing as saying, may I be able to be compassionate towards all beings. Two different things. So your intent now has to do something. Now you start coming into an issue of energy. Some traditions focus on energy. Christians focus the way they look at energy in terms of the love of Christ and in terms of the Holy Spirit. In India, they have a celebration called the Kundalini Chakra. Actually, the term is Kundalini Prana Shakti. They talk about the chi of something, and the Holy Spirit is nothing more than this big chi that shows up and does whatever it does. Exact same business, but different words and different means. The problem is you get attached to the words and start thinking the words are the thing. So you have this really big problem with the mind grabbing onto a word, grabbing onto a thought, grabbing onto a theory, and that really gets lost. So don't get too uptight about words. Different traditions work on different things. They all will have their words, and then you'll think that the words are what the thing is. Throw the words in the garbage and start working on what they are actually asking you to do. Because what the spiritual tradition is asking you to do is what in the end you're going to be left with. All the words are just opening to be something you keep seeing in your head. So you could be very happy, which may be somewhat about control. Taoists have been clear about this for thousands of years. That is one reason they don't take what words that seriously. So how do you have intent? If you have to have intent, it's not only about knowing the meaning of what those words are, it's actually about fulfilling the meaning. Knowing the words is only the first step. For example, in Taoism, they take your body through stages that attach more sophisticated stages that are much more sophisticated than just taking one step. They actually have practices where the purpose is to make your body fully conscious. Now, when you take a step, you're just getting a general sense of awareness. So you can kind of get your mind and body to be together. Think about weaving. When you have a loose weave, the threads are not close together. But in a tight weave, each thread can perceive directly what is happening in its relationship to every other thread. But that's only if it's a tight weave. If we have a really, really tight weave, then there is there is not weave. There is not much space between each thread. So you now have a brain, but your brain doesn't know anything about your liver. And you know you have a liver, but your liver knows nothing about your spleen. And you have blood vessels, but your blood vessels don't know anything about ligaments. And your ligaments don't know anything about tendons. And your tendons don't know anything about fascia, and on and on. Now, when you want to move up the ladder of meditation, the biggest single thing that happens is that the weave starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And now, to have you begin to understand where this practice is going to go, you need to understand the idea of weaving. Because how close and how far apart your awareness of things is in your body is going to determine what level of practice is appropriate for you. Then you can start looking at how to do it. So there is something in the whole spiritual process that in one sense, could be described as the unity or conductivity exercise. It is how everything inside you can communicate so that every part knows what every other part is doing. And every part is, is fine with this. But as you start examining down through the body, you start looking at one separate piece and the separate and another separate piece. Its potential is to come together, but that's the potential. So as you go down to each level, you start talking about what's inside you, you separate and control and and connect, communicate, and be aware of parts on other levels. And that's a simple way of putting it. All they're talking about is how much connects and how much doesn't connect. If you're unhappy a million times disconnect, when you're truly, truly happy, then all things connect. But in many traditions, there will be an idea that you worship. That means your intent is going to go to that idea. Grab that idea and try and make it whatever the idea is. So there is intent, and that's the only point I'm trying to make. So if you use the example of a mantra, for instance, there are two things. First, it means something that you think about, but then that's not really what a mantra is about. The point of the mantra is to become what that mantra is in your, what that mantra is in your practicing. Now, when you talk about intent, Not everybody recognizes the energy inside themselves completely or correctly. They recognize the reactions they have to the energy inside themselves. They recognize that they cry or that their hormones are going and they're feeling all that stuff, but they never actually notice how the energy inside them is triggering it, causing it, controlling it, shaping it. That is not what usually happens. So, the next thing in meditation, if you are going to use intent, is that now you have to realize that you're only going to be able to know where that intent goes if you can start actually noticing what's happening to those energies inside your body. So, the example of emotions. Now, if we talk about intent and you just deal with the physical body and what drives it, then you, you, you as you do cloud hands, you can make the energy go up your legs, up your back, all the way to your fingertips and extend out of your hands. And then pull the energy back into you, back to travel through your body all the way down to your feet. And as you shift and turn, you're doing something very deliberately that affects your body. It's not just that you're making your hands go where you want them to go. You're doing it from your dantian and making it go through your organs. You're doing something very deliberate, and you're doing it with the qi that affects your body. Now, in Taoism, that's usually the next step. If someone does Tai Chi uh, as a martial art, for example, they could just go, I'm going to make my hand move and whack him in the head. Or they could go, when I get to the point when I whack him on the head, I'm going to make everything move through my spine, through my arm and hand, so that when I hit him, he won't stand up anymore. That's intent. Now, how do you use your intent to make your energy go through where you are to where you want it to be? If you want to move to make it just physical, you can visualize yourself. Athletes visualize themselves being stronger, doing something, and they get stronger to a certain degree, not necessarily to super strength and not necessarily with super fluidity. Now, fluidity is more of a Taoist thing. They are into balance and into harmony. And the nature of harmony is fluid. Fluidity simply means there is no gap between the yin and the yang. The flow into each is smooth. Using the mechanisms with mantras or visualization or doing Tai Chi, you can do those things, which will increase physical strength. That doesn't have to have a spiritual context. But if it is done in a way that makes you move more aware of the awareness inside you, it makes your awareness get stronger, then it may just happen that it allows you to lift something heavy. So you can do what you do for a worldly reason, or so that you get something out of the mind, out of the word. But then if you start doing it aiming toward meditation, what you're trying to do then is to make the awareness in your body clearer and clearer, and be able to be continuously focused for longer and longer periods. This is because at some point you're going to switch over to using intent, and you're going to start pointing it towards spiritual issues. You're going to point towards love or compassion, or you could have kindness, generosity, patience, or perseverance. Not perseverance in the sense of how to keep on doing this thing so I can get some reward, but perseverance toward completely opening up the spiritual side of yourself, because you're going to need more practice and perseverance for that than you are going to need to become a billionaire. But what are you now aiming this practice towards? You want to be like Jesus Christ? Then you have to aim it toward that, so that you actually enable yourself to become like Jesus Christ. If you think you want to be a Buddha, then you are going to have to aim towards that, towards what will allow you to become a Buddha. You want to become by Lao Tzu or Chuang-Tzu, then you have to aim towards that. Now just keep on practicing, not just keep on practicing and hope it's going to happen sometime. And you really actually are going to practice until it does happen. So close your eyes, or leave them open if you prefer, but not focused particularly. Make sure that you have settled into a straight position, but comfortable. And breathe. Send your mind through your body as well as you can at the moment. And you want to focus your meditation in whatever way is best for you at this time. Whether it's anxiety or forgiveness or clearing blockages from a specific energy body, or whatever it needs to be for you at this time. But you're trying to just focus your intent and make it happen as much as it can at this time. And when you're ready, we can begin to close. sending all benefit gained from this practice out to help all the sentient creatures of the universe. So any thoughts or comments or questions?
No.
Okay, great to see you. Thank you.
I won't be here for the next class because that's when my family's all arriving, all coming from Canada and New Hampshire. So
Okay, well, we'll send you a recording. Have fun with your family.
thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, David.